Hi everyone, I've got Eli in my chair today, and the idea for today's haircut is taking the sides a little bit shorter, working tighter through the nape, probably going to fade a little bit through that with the clippers, and then working some curl, releasing some curl through the top, making it a little bit stronger, and then taking some weight out the sides, but most importantly, keeping width on these corners. Let's jump right in. Eli, so you're in the chair today, mate. We're going to go through and give you a haircut. You come in and said that you wanted the sides a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
So are you thinking to like sort of fade up through the sides, go quite high, or keep it quite low? What are we thinking?
I'd like a lower fade.
Yep.
That'd be nice, yeah.
So just in the initial hairline.
Right.
Do you go quite short, see the skin? Or just scissors over comb as we've done before, just to sort of keep it soft?
Just to kind of keep it soft.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. And then I know you said you wanted to keep some width on the sides.
Yeah, I do like the width, yeah.
So did you want to cut into this? You see it looks quite full, quite round.
Yeah, if we could cut in and just kind of like release a little bit more curl.
Yeah.
Because right now it's kind of poofed out and I have a little bit more of like mushroom head. So to create more curl would be nice.
So make it look more like the middle on the sides as well. Excellent, we can do it for you 100%, but we still like the shape where it pours out, yeah, in this angle there, nice. And then I really like that length around the face on the fringe. I'm liking that length. Do you want to take it any shorter, or you quite like the length as well?
I like the length as it is. I feel like if we did take it a little bit shorter, I would like maybe just like a 1/4 inch off,
yep,
just so that it doesn't get too long.
Perfect.
But if you
let it last till the next haircut.
Yeah,
lovely.
If you think it's at a good length right now, then we can do it.
Excellent. I think it's going to complement the face shape a bit more, keeping the length to it. Because I think if we take the sides up with the width quite high and the fringe comes up, it's going to make the haircut look very top heavy. I want to keep a bit more dimension, so it complements the face shape. Looks a little bit more complementary with the curl and the movement. So I think the longer fringe is going to make it look a little bit stronger. Which would be nice. I do want to keep some length just over the ears, so again it doesn't come too high up through that, because I don't want the weight line to look square. I still want the weight line to sort of drop back a little bit, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then through the back, I'm going to take that nice and short through there, so we can get rid of a lot of that, get all that weight off for you for the sports.
All right.
Sound good? Perfect. Okay, so we've got our, we know what we're going to be doing today. We've got all that information that we've worked through. I'm going to go through, give a shampoo, section off, and then get ready for the haircut. The biggest thing for me today is I'm going to think about, as I'm working through the haircut, is the direction and the strength that I'm going to give when I work my sections, dependent, put my teeth in there, that was a bit funny, dependent on how much lift we get through the roots. So really sort of working through understanding how much lift and width we get naturally from that root direction, that growth. So that'd be very sort of cautious. I'll be looking in the mirror a lot, I'll be cutting the shape, checking it out, and constantly working to create the shape, so it's perfect for Eli. So we shampooed the hair, we're ready to cut. I'm going to go through and section off and map the haircut out. With Eli's hair, I want to just sort of make sure we focus on removing the shape from the side. We can see clearly the recession area. What's really good with here, it gives us a perfect line down to the top of the ear. So this would be the shape that we're going to work through, the detail through the front. Then moving through to the back, we can start to see just around the occipital bone area. This is going to be really key, just to work that fade coming into the back, then that detail. In this shape, I'm going to work with a lot of movement and texture built up to stack out from the sides. I will then also be subdividing the top, so I can then go ahead and work through the curl. Breaking a haircut up for me really allows me to understand the direction I'm working with, what section I'm working with, and how I want it to sit. They'll all be disconnected, but have a visual connection as I work on through. So I'm going to go through and section. First one I'm going to work towards is going to be the top, to subdivide the top area. It will be the easiest. So I'll be working just from recession, so looking in the mirror and just sort of seeing on the head shape the curve. And as you can see through the mirror here, just with that recession area, that's a really nice point to work from. I'm going to follow back to the occipital bone area. So combing all back, follow that all the way around to my occipital bone, supporting the hair, combing through and separating. This again is giving me a really clean, detailed shape I can start to work with and subdivide. Do the same on the other side. Following that same structure, that same idea. That nice and clean, checking the balance through the middle, looking pretty good to me. And then again, choosing at the back how high I want that shape to be. Remember, the idea is to have it drop slightly to the occipital bone area. So looking for that bone through the back of the eye bone and working just horizontally straight across it. And then we can go through and clip all of this out of the way to start on our sections. Should we leave it like that? Should we leave it? You want to leave it? That's it. Oh, yeah. I could see you thinking it. I knew you liked it. I knew you liked it. There we go. So we don't need any clips. The hair's holding itself, so we're looking pretty good. Now working through the side. Again, I'm just going to go through, just work a diagonal back. Keep that nice and clean. So this allows me to see my shape all the way through. Did you want to take the fade up quite high or keep these corners in?
I like those corners.
Keep those corners in, perfect. So with that in mind, I'm going to work a little bit lower down along the hairline, work more diagonal back, and keep that shape built in to the result. Repeat on the other side. And off we go. Okay. Gonna work the scissors to start. Gonna work some scissors over comb. So I'll come around this side and start.
I really think it looks good like this.
We can leave it if you're happy. Video's over, done. So just working through that scissors over comb, keeping clean. Knowing that we do have quite sparse on the root area, we don't want to take it too short, because if we do take it too short, it's going to not show any density, any control, and it will look really kind of weak. So really just working that scissors over comb, a little bit of detail in the area, but as we just suggested, keeping that area through the front, so it's just that initial hairline that we're taking away. And there we go. That's good shape. So when I look in the mirror, I can see that sitting nice and clean. I've got my width. When we style, we're going to bring that out. We can start to see that stacking out through the side with a lot of structure. Feel good on that side?
Yeah, I like that.
Perfect. So I do one last section, coming through the back. And then the back I will leave, because we're going to work through that when we work with the clippers. So just progressing through the haircut nice and naturally, working from one side to the other, looking at all the details, consistently checking the mirror to make sure we're nice and clean and precise, and just the shape is evolving as we want it to, being very natural and organic with the progression, working from front through to the back, and just working on each individual section and panel as we go. So on this side, you can start to see I'm working now my fingers down, change my angle, and I'm going to comb it out and follow that same shape. So I'm creating the same build-up of weight, just with my fingers pointing down. If I work with fingers pointing up, body would be in a bad position. So just being consistent with my hand positioning, which is really key and really important. Being clean when I comb, being precise when I comb, all the way through within my details. I'm cutting blunt to start, to build up structure, and then I will get softer when we start to texturize and remove weight later on. Christmas good?
Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, good. I ate more candy than I ever have in my life.
I bet. Did you have those candies that my mom brought you?
Yeah, finished them in one go.
Yeah, they were good. We had them the same day.
Yeah. Finished them just like your chocolate bar your dad got me that one time. Finish that off in one go as well. Yeah.
Yeah, the chocolate is like so much better. Like there's so much more flavor than the candies that they have here. So
viewers, if you can hear, we're talking about chocolate. And Bernard, Eli's father, got me some Galaxy for was it Christmas or birthday or some trip? One trip we done one time or something as a gift. I think it was just for appreciation. And on my Instagram, you'll see a post about the appreciation for clients. So go and check that other video out. It's all about the luxury of Galaxy.
Yeah, there was another version of Mars bars. That's what it was.
Mars, yeah.
I think that one was my favorite.
Nice. So good. Such good chocolates.
Yeah.
Okay. Shape's looking good. I've got a nice build up at both sides. I've got a nice little length over the ear I can go through in detail once we've worked through the fade in the nape. So now I'm at a stage where I'm looking into the mirror and I'm seeing the build up, seeing the structure. I'm liking all that I've got. I'm liking the detail around the sides, the little bit of length behind, but knowing that when we style it and when we detail, we've got that beautiful texture, that lift, that rise in width and volume. So I'm gonna go through now and start to remove some length. I do want to work a stronger sort of position through the nape, through the occipital bone. So I'm going to pick the hair up. And at the moment just work solid straight the way across. Come up again. This will give me a nice guide to work to. So that's going to be my build up of weight. I work just with some scissors overcomb to start and just pick up the hair. When I start to remove the weight, you can just start to see how that thumb's working, that cut's nice and clean, and it's that detail that I'm building into the haircut. Make sure I'm keeping the comb nice and square across the back and I'm not starting to round into the corners because I want to keep a lot of this weight for when we style later. Really being cautious when I'm working through the back to just sort of see the shape develop. As I'm cutting, just looking at how sparse the root area is, see what needs working. I'm going to grab the clippers and take it a bit shorter in a minute, but I just want to start to remove it as much as I can so I can sort of visually see the length I want to work to and just the natural progression that's going to happen within the overall shape. So now I'm looking there, I'm feeling good. Got my width on the sides, got the details, we can cut into those in a minute. But let's go and work the clippers and get that a little bit tighter. So just working with the Wild Magic clips. I love these, just a beautiful weight balance to it, as you can see. Beautiful movement. Just gonna go and just carve that out, just like the scissor over comb, just looking at the shape all the way through. Just so I can start to see that shape happening and developing as well. Again, just that natural progression. I'm following the process of the scissor over comb because that's allowing me to sit that nice and clean. Looking good so far. So I'm going to work just to a lower guard, just to a 0.5 through here, just to clean up the hairline and fade out as well. And then that will be my result done through the back. And we detail the rest with the scissors and the trimmers on the outside, but just enough just to take that weight away from the back. Really just a nice sort of clean fade from the hairline. Nothing too strong, nothing too high. Really just sort of emphasizing and giving a bit of extra detail into that nape area. A bit more design, a bit more fun. Okay, so as we're moving now onto the sides, I've mentioned a few times I want to go through and release some weight through the width. I still want to maintain the structure, the design, the feeling we've got, but I want to start to put a bit more lift in this area. So to do that, I'm going to go through and cut into it. I've got my structure, I've got my foundation, but I want to break it up a little bit. So I want to start to see a bit more emphasis. If I break up in the roots too much, I run the risk of it collapsing and being a bit too weak. Where I don't want to start to do that, that's going to work through the top to enhance the curl. I just want to go through and texturize the ends through the sides, which will give more of that piecier feel and more of that texture on the edges, which is important. Take each section, I'm elevating up so the underneath falls out. That's what my structure and my width to be. The corner, I'm elevating, holding through my fingers and just cutting back and forth just to break up those edges, allowing the width but the texture to develop on the end. So really personalizing each haircut, really personalizing each cut, each scissor strike, each moment that I'm going into the hair. I'm looking at the width and the depth that I want to go in, so being cautious on all of it. Everything is done for a reason and a purpose, and that's because I want everything to sort of move and to sit in certain ways. So every time I close the blades, I'm always thinking, how is it going to affect the result, the finish? And that's the importance. Again, it doesn't need much. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes the less we do, the more the result becomes obvious and apparent on what we're after. Good. I'm happy with that. When I start to move, I then start to see all of that texture. When I look in the mirror, I can start to see all the biddiness happening and start to see that separation moving through really easily. Knowing that when there's product being applied to it, you're going to really start to see the emphasis even more. So really, really nice shape to work on. You can see in the mirror as well, just quite clear how textured that is compared to this area, which again just looks a lot heavier. So those small areas of texture make a big difference for the finish. We're going to repeat the same technique on this side and cut in just that corner into it. Now, you can do this on wet or dry hair. You can focus on it being wet. Dry is also good as well. When you are doing on dry hair, you will find that you might find you need to cut into it a little bit more. The angle might be a little bit steeper. With wet, remember the hair's clumping together, so the movement of the scissors could be a little bit less. There we go. Okay, now let's work through the top. I'm going to cut a little bit of length off, and then I'm going to go back through and just start to release that curl into the roots with a lot more texture. So working large horizontals. For that reason, with the section being so wide, I'm going to have pull from both sides. And what it's also going to do for me is create graduation. So I'll start creating an unevenness, allowing the curl to develop and allowing the hair to be different from the front of this section to the back. So it's going to start to create this kind of movement going through the top of the head when it starts to dry. Making sure that the middle itself is a little bit shorter than the side, so we can get that more width being pushed out to the side. As I'm point cutting, I'm working that vertical point cut, but coming back across the finger positioning on both ways, so the hair can push the scissor strike, the short hair can push the long hair in all different directions, just enhancing more movement as I'm working through with the cut. Always trying to do something that allows the hair to do the work for me. We said that we like the length of the fringe. I want to take a little bit off, so I'm actually going to cut the fringe straight down and not elevating up, because I want to maintain the weight to it so the curl can come over the top. So we're going to drop that down. I'm going to change my cutting action through the fringe. I'm going to come down and just point cut, just quite soft, just back and forth, but a little bit more controlled. So keeping that width on the corners by keeping my fingers square, but also keeping that stronger structure. So when we style it, it's not going to be as wispy on the front. The deeper you cut into the hair, the wispier the finish will be, the softer it will be. The thicker we work, the heavier, more controlled that fringe is going to be, which we can then start to detail with the product if we need to. Now for me, that width is important. I think I'm going to just remove these corners as I'm looking. As you can see in the middle, the fringe just needs a little bit less on those corners, so I'm just going to cut into those. Not with removing length, but just removing weight. So when we're here, instead of going through and removing length, if I just remove some weight in those corners, the root movement's going to allow that to jump. So I've kept my length, I've removed the weight, but now it still looks square, but without actually removing any length to it. So when it shrinks, it won't shrink up and be shorter, it will shrink up and just be softer, because it's going to allow the jump to be more. So just a little trick. Sometimes it's not about removing the length, it's about removing the weight to allow the hair to do more, especially with curl. So I've got a beautiful result so far. This is sitting really good. Look at smiles for the client already. You can't ever complain when you get smiles and you're not even finished. Look at that. But I'm going to go through now and just break up into the roots, just to connect to the sides and then the top as well. So I'm going to re-establish my partings going across the head, my horizontals. I'm going to pick the hair up. And I'm going to work from underneath. I'm just going to work just some point cutting just into the roots, just to break up the strength of that section. You see I'm removing quite a lot of hair. That's going to allow the hair to get separated areas. Especially when we start to work, you can then start to see the curl developing quite easily. So again, removing weight at the roots allows you to enhance separation between the hair strands, allowing the curl on the movement of the hair to be a little bit more fun, because it has room to move into different places. As I'm cutting, I'm making sure the blades are pointing up, so I'm not going to go into the roots and cut the scalp, but a good way to thin the hair. I mean, look at all of that, it's great. And always want to cut the underneath of the section where the hair is going to lie. So if the hair is going to be lying forward, I'm going to cut into the front. As we know, the section through the back, the hair will be falling back in this direction. So I'm going to cut the underneath, so the long hair can sit over the top and we're releasing the weight underneath. All of that technical thinking is really important when you're creating a style on a client and you're wanting the hair to do different things to what it normally does. So again, it's always important when you're thinking about cutting in different areas, get the hair to do what you want it to do, or control it. So let's continue through to the front. I'm going to comb back, cut from the top. As you can see, I'm just working through, cutting some shorter areas. We're going to see all these little bits sticking up. That's going to be brilliant because they are going to give lift and movement to the hair and allow, when we start to work with product, shape to happen. I can make sure I connect in on both sides, so I can connect in the sides to the top. Knowing Eli, how he wears his hair, knowing that we put a lot of product in and we style the hair a lot, I'm really confident that this technique is going to be complementary for his styling ability. And that's one of big questions that I ask my clients. You know, how they style their hair, how they work with it, what ability they have, because it's going to influence how I cut their hair. Connecting in these sides. Now I'm being a little bit freer, a little bit more erratic with my choice. I'm working just on the sides and just visualizing what area needs to blend. So this is going to be a bit more personal. It's me now looking at the hair, me now looking at the structure and sort of seeing what it needs where. How's it feeling so far? Length feeling good?
Yeah, I like the shape of it.
Nice. Anything you'd want to change or adjust or do different?
I think it's pretty good so far, yeah.
Nice. Just pretty good?
It's good, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Trust your
That's it. Nice. Some Ace Ventura's going on there, look at that. That's it. Okay. Right. Put your hands in that, play around, make sure it feels good, and then we'll detail the edges.
Yeah, that feels real nice. Yeah.
Feels good. Perfect. Love it. Okay. So now I'm going to go through and clean up. I'm going to use the Anderson and Pro trimmers just to go through and detail the edges. I had a question about these trimmers in some of the comments the other day, and just one of the best trimmers I love. They're just such a good way to work with. It's smiling for the camera now, like you see that. Happy with everything? It's feeling good? Yeah. All right. Cut's all done. Happy with the detail, happy with everything. We're going to get some products in and we're going to finish off. So just spraying some water back in, just to wet the hair down so it can start to absorb some products. And been working with a leave-in conditioner, just to allow some separation, some saturation to enhance the curls. And then just a texture spray I'm going to work on, just to go through and sort of lock in those curls. I'm going to scrunch with the hair, let the hair absorb in my hands. Then I'm going to probably work with a diffuser just to control those curls as we work through. But when working with curl, when applying product, or especially sort of with texture, the wetter the hair is when we apply it, the better, the more the hair will absorb the product. So, little leave-in conditioner now. Little prep spray, little prime spray. Letting that absorb in. And this is how you'll style it at home. So when you're working with it to get that sort of curl and that texture, don't be afraid to put your hands in and hold the hair with your hands and allow the product to sort of absorb all of the product and all of the water as well. You want the front quite curly,
Yeah.
or a bit more textured. What are you thinking? More curls, less curls?
Honestly, it kind of just like depends. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll wake up and there's a lot of curls and I'll leave it like that, and then other days it'll be like a little bit more flatter, so I'll leave it like that. But I'd say most of the time I probably have it curled.
Yeah. Just working with a nice high heat to let the hair swell, but just a low speed to reduce the vibration and to reduce the frizz that we get through the hair. But I want the heat to create that cast, and I want the heat to create that swelling of the cuticle, so it's nice and thick and nice and full. Like, I got ringlets. Now, with the blow dry complete, I've put some nice structure to it. We've gone through to dry, quite tight. The curl's really sort of shrunk, which is brilliant. We've got a beautiful hold to the curl. Eli just touched it as well and was like, he loves the sort of the product, loves the idea behind it and how it's sitting. So I'm just gonna work with a little bit of cream now. There's defining cream, just to go through and scrunch in and pull out the curl and create the style. Biggest thing for me is I want to work into the roots. I don't want to distress the ends too much. I quite like the detail. So once I put this product through, just to control the top, I'm then going to go through and put my hands inside and pull out those areas, work into the roots to break up those root areas, get it bigger. And then pull through the details. There we go. How's that looking? Am I looking good?
Yeah, I like the looks of it a lot.
Nice. Let me show you the back, and then we're done.
Yeah, I like that.
That is nice and clean.
Yeah, it's a lot cleaner.
Yeah. A good shape.
Yeah.
Happy with it?
Yeah, I'm really happy with it.
Perfect. So as you can see on Eli's hair, a finished look, finished result. We've gone through, worked through the details on the side, just a nice little clean up on the sides, working a lot stronger with a fade on the back, just by working through that number one into the half, just sort of clean up that hairline, and then working through that curl, again creating a lot more width as we're coming through the side, but then releasing that curl for that beautiful texture, working with a beautiful curl as well on the hair to really accentuate the shape and the texture. I hope you like this look. If you like the education, you like the tips and the tricks in the video, please like and subscribe. Add anything in the comments you might want to see in the future, and I look forward to seeing you in another video.